Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Virtual Vines. Tonight, we are going to do a little Halloween candy pairing. Ooh, reminds me, I'm going to have to get the Halloween candy. I forgot the most important thing. Right behind you, Tanya, is all the candy.
Let's be honest, the wine's the most important thing.
Wine is most important.
If you got the candy.
Wine is so important right now. But there's a couple things while we work on getting the wine and people are tuning in. So thank you so much for tuning in. A great lineup tonight. Folks, you love Kermit Lynch. We have Kermit Lynch. Like, we brought the Kermit Lynch to this tasting.
Yeah. Well, not to pat our own backs. I feel like we went over the candy. We kind of picked the wines, and then to make sure we weren't off the beaten path, we kind of were like, okay, what are the Master Soms and MSs thinking?
Right.
I gotta say, we were pretty on board with most of the suggestions there, I think, right? So
yeah. No, we were right there with what everybody wanted.
Really interested to see how some of these turn out.
So this is going to be a lot of fun for us on this side. Guaranteed to be a lot of fun for you as well, because these wines are absolutely stellar. I am going to share my screen here really quick. Let me pull up what I was looking to pull up. I don't want to do that there. Okay, now I got that where I need to have it. Let's get this thing right there. Perfect. And welcome. Halloween wine paired with Halloween candy. We found your favorite wines, our favorite candies, and we're going to pair today. And then where did I put the? Where's the?
I am
discombobulated. I need some wine today.
Where's your wine glass?
Wanted to remind everybody that we are still doing our Hats Off to You campaign. Great colors. I know a lot of folks are really close to getting their hats. I'm sporting the purple one today for Halloween.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be really cool.
Do they have to get it by the end of the month? So they have for Friday?
Yeah, they have end of November. So
End of November,
24 bottles between now and the end of November, which should be easy to do with Thanksgiving coming up. I mean, you can add those extra bottles. You get a loaded grape pack. So really cool there. Also, something you might see on the checkout on the loaded grape. Me and TC are going to pair up on the 29th and do a little trick-or-treat Halloween tasting. You can come by the shop. We do have some tasting bags available. We're calling them booze bags. 29th at 8 o'clock. Me and TC, when you get in there, you'll get a Zoom link to come join us. We'll be doing it on Zoom, so we'll be able to see each other and chat some more. We have some Halloween candy in that bag as well, but it's not meant to pair. It's just more for
you got
fun.
The small bottles. I mean, hey, if you're like me, I mean that's just a good afternoon. But for some of you, you're like, hey, I want to try multiple bottles, not open a whole bottle, but. I want to say all the wines, we have 750 capability, so that night we'll talk about availability on that too.
Yeah.
So, I always wanted a bag with wine in it. I mean, come on, give me
so
candy too.
They're 375 size, so half bottle, so great to share with folks. And this way, since we're opening up 3 bottles, it's not that hard to maybe
2 glasses per bottle, 6 glasses.
Yeah, so
it's like a bottle and a half.
If you don't finish it all one night, you can finish it all the next kind of thing. But it'll be fun to taste along on that. And we do have those available. You can do that with checkout if you're in the wine club at the end. Just put in your level, either cellar, estate, or reserve in the coupon code to get your discount if you're doing it online, or stop by the shop and pick them up. Again, $40 for the bag, so a lot of fun with that. Then next week, mark your calendars. I already know this is very popular right now on Facebook. This one has a lot of interest in it. We're going to be doing some bourbon barrel wines.
Yeah.
So wines that are done in bourbon barrels, one of them being the Pappy Van Winkle bourbon barrel.
Yeah.
So mark your calendar, 7:30 on that on our Facebook page. We'll go live.
Tell your bourbon drinkers to tune in, because we all have the friends or family that they only drink spirits, and I know bourbon's a big thing, so that they come wine tasting with you guys because they love you. Or maybe to the breweries, but they love them some bourbon, some Buffalo Trace, and this would be a good time to say, hey, this wine, bourbon, we're just bringing people together. The Venn diagram is widening, right?
We're bringing them together. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of great wines, great values on these as well. So tell your friends, tell everybody next Monday night. And then we're going to get started now. Let's start. We've already popped open a little bottle of bubbles. Let me try to get to my glass over here, sir. There we go. Now, with this one, we're pairing Sour Patch Kids. So TC, and well, there's your pack of Sour Patch Kids. Right. And now, you might sit there and say, "Wow, Sour Patch Kids, really?" I mean, that doesn't seem like the perfect pairing for anything. But you know, sometimes having that little bit of all that sugar with the bubbles, it goes really, really well. And of course, I got the mixed bag, so I have to find Tanya. Tanya, here's your bag of.
Well, and to me, one of the hardest things, you know, whenever I get a wine dinner or when I'm doing wine dinners with chefs, and sometimes they come at me with this very esoteric pairings and flavors that, you know, I have to look up on Wikipedia. Oftentimes, my default go-to to suggest our bubbles, our sparkling wine, whether it be a nice Cava, Prosecco, a Cremant, something like that. This goes so well with so many different things, you know, from subtle flavors to big, bold flavors. And obviously, Sour Patch Kids is going to be kind of an in-your-face flavor. And I'm thinking, you know, God, Halloween candy, there's so many different variations of chocolate. You know, what's something that's going to go with that bright, acidic, you know, tart, refreshing thing? And we always think about, you know, ceviches, pico de gallos, you know, cheese plates even, you know. So, you know, what's something that has some pop to it? You know, sparkling wine, and then something like this. It's got a little sweet, little sour components to it.
Yeah, this is a one. Before we even start putting in the Sour Patch Kids in our mouths, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is, well, as you can see on the screen, Champalou. This is the name of the winery, and although they've been around, they're both the husband and wife are several generation vignerons, or from vineyard families. However, they kind of decided to seek off and do their own thing. So when they met in college in the early '80s. In the town of Saumur, which is in Loire Valley. They struck off and found this little winery in the area of Turin, more specifically Vouvray. Now, some of you out there that have been drinking wine for 30, 40 years, you don't have to claim or say who you are to age yourself, but Vouvray, you know, has had this staying power. You know, I know we've done Gavis and Soaves before, and there's something about these older style or older appellations that are in the vernacular of people that, oh yeah, Vouvray, I've had that before. Now, several variations of Vouvray. I mean, there's dry, there's off dry, there's sweet, there's late harvest. And to me, that's why I love Loire Valley, because it's such a diverse area in terms of the styles of wine they make. But tonight, we're actually talking about the central part of Loire Valley.
Yeah,
we pop up a map here. Yeah, perfect.
So look, so we got the Loire kind of.
Yeah, right up here. So the little orange area. So we start with Nantes. If you kind of follow from the Atlantic Ocean all the way over, that's kind of right in the middle where they would meet. No mouse. That's fine. So if you guys are looking at the French map here, you may the bottom left of your screen is green. Okay, that's Bordeaux. If you go straight up from Bordeaux, that peach orange color that kind of goes east west. That's Loire Valley that follows the Loire River. And in the middle part, almost where those roads and the rivers seem to meet, is the middle part where Vouvray is. And this is where Chenin Blanc thrives, it stars, it is the king, the queen, it is kind of the be-all, end-all grape. To be labeled Vouvray, it has to be 100% Chenin Blanc. And quite frankly, as I was mentioning, the husband-wife team that started this label, even though they've been around for less than 40 years now, this particular label, the Champalou, is one of the most recognizable labels in all of Vouvray. And as Danny put up here on the screen, you have several styles. This is a method traditional, meaning, traditionally fully sparkling. They let them sit on the lees in bottle for 2 years at the winery before disgorgement, which is to say they take off the cap, and before the dosage, which makes a wine brut or sec, or in this case, I think you see on the label demi-sec, is the amount of sugar they put in it. Now, it does vary from vintage to vintage, but it never gets more than 3 grams of sugar per bottle. Now, for some of you, I said the S word, sugar, that you're just like, oh, wait a minute. 3 grams. Now, to give you a perspective, 7 grams is considered dry in the wine world. So when you see brut on champagne or cava, that's generally about 7 to 8 grams of sugar. And even 100 years ago, 20 grams of sugar was considered dry. So you can see how dry this is. Now, on the other side, people that go, wait a minute, that sounds tart and acidic, and that 3%, albeit a very small percentage, really rounds it out and kind of gives it nice, robust flavor. And so for those of you out there that cook either well or badly, or maybe watch very well the cooking shows, you'll notice what chefs do at the end of certain dishes. They'll squeeze a little bit of a lemon, right? And that lemon kind of lifts it, gives it some acidity. Same thing with putting a little chocolate on sweet things, right? Like fudge. That's why chocolate and a little bit of fudge really pops it, right? So that's what this does, is that 3%, very, very unnoticeable, but rounds it out, and it gives it this beautiful texture. I mean, I'm just looking at your glass. And guys, I know you're a traditionalist. You want to throw in a champagne flute, be my guest, but this is the glass I think you should be drinking it out of, because you can really smell it, get in there, and just really get that, that kind of nectarine, certainly peachy. I know it's not the most romantic adjective, but people say woolly. I've heard, kind of one of the funniest descriptions is someone said, it's like that wool sweater that your grandma knitted you and your mom made you wear to school in 4th grade and it rained and you had to go inside and you're like, oh, it's kind of that wet wool. And you're like, okay, is that supposed to be a positive description? But you know how sometimes these wine descriptions, it's the best stream of consciousness. So again, still versions, off dry, late harvest versions, even, because where this area is at, it's very hot, but because of that slow drop of temperatures, they can kind of get a full maturation, that full growth season, and even some late harvest wines, which I love, and I certainly know this guy loves. There's late harvest wines, which again they make a little bit of. It doesn't happen every year. But
and with Thanksgiving coming up, folks, do know that we will be adding in some of those because we gotta have it.
The ports, the sherries, the Madeiras. I thought we've done some really cool stuff.
Such cool stuff.
Late harvest wines at all price points, guys. So I think that's something. Who knows? We might need to throw a second special sweet for the sweet tooth people out there. It's like, hey guys, we're going sweet tooth wines for folks out there. But anyway, back on point. Let's try this. I did, and
I'm gonna say right now, it is. What it does
what
is
flavor should I go first? You think?
I know, right? Like
you get that. You think lemon lime first. Think that's the more or green lime maybe.
I did a blue one.
I think the lemon would probably be a good
one. So what I was noticing was that I get that big bitter. More that make your lips kind of pucker sour, and then all of a sudden I drank it with the wine and it mellows it right out.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
I'm not gonna lie. And the wine and the sweet Sour Patch, a little odd, but it finishes very well though. It's like that kind of super punches went away. That wine kind of mellowed. And hey, I'm not saying you have to go all gourmet with candy, folks, but I'm telling you, this is something. If you got a couple extra Sour Patch Kids, you want to steal from the kids.
When kids are like,
or hey, my wife's favorite candy is Sour Patch Kids. So hey, we're just adult kids in our house, and you'll definitely find the Costco bag every now and then.
I think they're Danny's too. Well, Twizzlers. These are probably really Twizzlers, but
it's her favorite. But whenever she brings them in the house, I end up eating half the bag. And I'm like, please. Yeah. As I'm eating, I'm like, please stop bringing this in.
Oh, yeah.
Well, really, one of my faves is actually Swedish Fish.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God.
Swedish Fish, silver dollars, any of that.
I love that IKEA place.
I do. I love the Swedes. I love the Swedes.
Swedish.
I did grab a little photo of what Chenin Blanc looks like on Vine, so you get an idea.
Variation of the color variations, there too, guys. Yep. So again, it's a really fun, funky, ancient varietal. It does very well in South Africa. California does quite a bit with it. Australia, but Loire Valley is really the home. And like I said, it's such a unique grape that makes a vast array of styles, and that's what I love about not only Chenin Blanc but Loire Valley. And for those of you that know France or want to dip your toe in France, Loire Valley, quite frankly, I think is one of the best places to start, because you can walk into a place like Loaded Grape and you have 5 people coming over. All right. Somebody likes sparkling, someone likes rosé, someone likes white wine, red wine, and sweet wine. You can literally get all 5 of those things in one appellation. Some wineries have them without even having to leave, without having to go to Bordeaux for the red and having to go to Champagne for the sparkling and Burgundy for the lighter red. Loire Valley has it in spades. And Champollion, guys, if you've never had Loire Valley or even Vouvray, Champollion, I'm going to tell you, we're going to spoil you tonight, because you can certainly find some cheaper versions out there, but you're not going to find really the level of pedigree that they've established in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, this is just so you guys know, another Kermit Lynch import. Kermit de Frog. No, Kermit Lynch import. So it's from the folks that have been watching the show, every time we do a Kermit Lynch import, Kermit Lynch import, folks tend to.
I think there's some people out there that's all they buy. They
now they're kind of like, oh, it's Kerwin Lynch. It's okay. I can put it in the cart. We have normal price $29 tonight, down to $27. Of course, you get your club discounts on any of these. So at checkout, so just type Cellar, Estate, or Reserve. If you're in the Grand Reserve, you'll also type Reserve. Folks, this is, I mean, with the holidays coming up, definitely.
You need bubbles.
You
if
need
you don't
bubbles.
have sparkling wine, shame on you.
Crowd pleaser for everybody. Tanya Vanna Vines, how are you enjoying this?
I really enjoyed this.
What flavor Sour Patch did you go for? Did you go for the green?
Well, I did the green one, and then, see, I'm not that familiar with Sour Patch Kids because I don't like anything gummy, usually. I like the Sour Patch Kids just because I like sour, so once that part's gone, I'm like, can I skip this out? But I did the red one, whatever that one is.
Yeah.
What is the red one and the green
Maybe a
one?
cherry, maybe?
I don't know, I guess. But it doesn't matter. It's basically that salty, like, fabulousness that I love, the sour, and then it, goes really well with this.
Well, and sparkling wine, again, bold flavors. I said it at the beginning, but, one of my favorite all-time movies with Marilyn Monroe, The 7-Year Itch, circa, like, 1955. She comes downstairs, and she's got a bag of potato chips and champagne. Now, that just seems like one of the kind of classiest things that, blonde bombshell can do. But quite frankly, you ask any Somm out there, French fries, fried chicken, potato chips, greasy things, sparkling wine. Oh my God. And again, super sour things like fried food that are very bold flavors, little sparkling wine, go well. We have a question.
Kim has a question here. She had a Saturday night. She had a dinner where the Vouvet was sweet.
Yeah.
From France. She didn't like it because obviously it was sweet. How do you know how to avoid that by looking at the label?
Sure. So there's obviously some producers that produce more of a sweeter style, some off. Now, was it, maybe she can reply to this, but was it a sparkling or was it a still white wine? Now, if it's sparkling, they'll usually have words like brut on the bottle, which is going to be dry to bone dry. Whereas I think the map that Danny put up just a minute ago, demi-sec or sec, basically is going to be sweeter or off dry. Now, as far as the still versions, now you can look at sometimes you can look at the alcohol level. So, for instance, if it was a white still wine in that 8 to 10% range, it would lead me to believe, without tasting it, it would be a little sweeter, because essentially what ferments is when the yeast attacks the sugar, ferments it, et cetera, et cetera. So if you had a Vouvray, a white still Vouvray that I would say maybe in that 11 to 12.5% range, I would say maybe a little bit more drier. God, good question. I mean, some producers will put on the back label, because there are sweeter versions, just like Riesling. I mean, I think on the back of Riesling, sometimes you see the dry thing, and they actually will put on that. Yeah, put it on there. God, it's interesting because Shannon is a very floral grape, and I think oftentimes when we bring the wine up and when you smell this kind of white floral thing, the first thing your brain says is red alert, sweet wine, and certainly there are out there, but just like Viognier that we did last week, I mean, or Gewürztraminers, I mean, they're very aromatic wines that have almost sweet aromas, but when you try them, they're bone dry. Now this is bone dry, so I'd encourage you, don't give up on Vouvray just yet. Sparkling, hey. When you can throw sparkling or still, I mean, hey, I love me some still, white wine, but hey, give me some bubbles all day long. You get this right here, I think it'll reaffirm or maybe get you back into Chenin Blanc or Vouvray. But yeah, you do have to kind of watch out, and that's kind of the one peg on Vouvray is sometimes they can be a little sweeter if you're not careful. Another producer. So
yeah, that's see. But TC, you helped us out, so we know how to read the labels and everything, and know how to avoid that in the future. If you notice that I had Kim's info up on the screen. Up on screen like I did with Kim. So
or if you want to be backdoor about it and Tanya's number, text Tanya and she'll shout it out. I mean, so you'll get a little live access on the show, right?
We can do that as well. So we'll just fun. Now it's time to move on to our next wine. And with that being said, a little Tuscany.
A little Italiana. So this is So guys, this is a fun wine, and God, I think I said it a couple shows ago, and for those of you out there that came to the dinner earlier this month, and hope that you come to the Thanksgiving dinner that we're planning, wines to be announced very soon.
So that was out in our email today.
Oh, perfect. Did you already get some response?
So let me explain, folks. If you want to be at our Thanksgiving dinner, it's November 12th or 19th. We have 2 Thursdays in November. It's wine and beer, so 5 small plates paired with a wine or a beer. So know this. The dinners are selling out fast. So
we can't have 50 people.
You can't, yeah. So because they're limited, that's why we did 2 sittings. If you go onto our website and you scroll down to upcoming events, both dates are listed there. If you click on it, it gives you the option to buy right there on our website. And so it's $60 for non-club members, $55 for club members. Of course, that's plus tax. And we'll be over at the Porterhouse on West Market Street. Again, the meals are going to be incredible. I can give you a kind of rundown really quick. It's deviled eggs 2 ways. 2 ways. That's kind of where we're going to start the dinner. Then we're going to go to a fried dressing with a cranberry puree. It's stellar. If you've been to one of our dinners, it's kind of like a staple. We do this one every time. A honey glazed ham with what was the potato on that? Can't remember now. With the potato.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Is it au gratin or?
Yeah, I think potatoes au gratin.
Was it,
that was potato salad. So mustard grain, whole grain mustard potato salad. Then the roasted turkey with green bean casserole and mashed sweet potatoes. God, so that's the main course.
We usually say you're guaranteed not to go home not thirsty, but you're not going home hungry after this one. God, it sounds like it is going to be.
And then dessert is a pumpkin pie egg roll with fresh whipped cream. So so the dinner is going to be awesome. Definitely. And again, each paired with a beer and a wine. Me and TC are finishing up those pairings based on availability. So probably next week email would probably have the whole thing listed out. But it's probably not going to last until next week. I mean, that's how fast these things are selling today. Yeah. Put it up and literally each dinner is halfway sold out. Yeah, so
true
guarantee that probably by the end of the week, they both will be sold out. So, so if you're looking at that tonight, be sure to check out. But let's get into the Super Tuscan. So we're going to go to Italy.
Italiano. So again, guys, I think if you drink wine and you're trying, or if you drink enough wine and you don't come across Italy, then I say you're probably drinking too much California or something like that, because Italy and France, which is really what we're doing tonight. We didn't really plan it that way. It just kind of happened that their wine styles were the easiest and most accessible to pair. But I just think Tuscany is one of those areas that, unlike say the Piedmont or even the Veneto in some aspects, it's one of the easiest to transition, because it's a lush. It's a very lush green area to begin with. I mean, very beautiful, very picturesque. Sangiovese is dominant. But there are these little pockets, more particularly down towards the coastline, close to a little town called Bulgari, that because of the soil, Merlot and Cabernet and other Bordeaux varietals actually thrive a little bit better than Sangiovese. So we're going to talk about this wine that's not new to the market, but it's new to Tryon. So it's one of the first times I'm able to bring it out. And it's Tintua Lucente. And then this is actually their kind of baby wine right here. Now, if you look it up, the LUC, the Tinta Luce wine online, and call Danny and say, hey, give me the bro hookup price, he'll probably give you the hookup price for about $100. Now, that's a deal price for the Luce, because, again, it's a wine of just, well, I won't say mythic proportions, but it's elevated to itself to where, hey, it's like art or anything. It's like the stock market. I mean, hey, that's the price, right? And so anyway, when you can have wines that are the same kind of pedigree, just kind of maybe younger vines, but with that same quality control approach, you just jump all over it. So to give you a little backstory on this wine, 25 years ago, Vittorio Frescobaldi and Robert Mondavi, literally two powerhouses, got together and said, hey, let's Four-Model Wine. At this point, this was the early 90s. Mondavi certainly was established. At this time, he was really kind of trying to solidify his legacy. And obviously, Mondavi, coming from Italy, wanted to, take claim to some Italian vineyards and be a part. Some of you may be familiar with Opus One, which was his partnership with Baron de Philippe Rothschild, which is one of the top Bordeaux houses. So again, he really wanted to go to these old world countries and say, all right, who's your Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson that we can team up and do one dream team kind of project together? Well, this is it they put together. And what this is found in the ancient, or not ancient, I should say, but the medieval walled town of Montesino. We just did a Brunello, and for those of you,
this is actually the winery right here.
Yeah, perfect. So this is very, very. I mean, it's not a huge area. I mean, Montesino is a very small area. I think it's like less than 5,000 total acres, which is kind of just a blip on the map of a country 2 million acres. But anyway, when they got together, they wanted to not defy tradition, but kind of embody the land, but also kind of hedge forward. And that's really what, especially Robert Mondavi has done, and the Frescobaldi, that generation was doing, because the Super Tuscan wines, that whole name came about, these winemakers from the 60s, 70s, and 80s going, wait a minute, why do we only have to grow Sangiovese? I love Merlot, I love Cabernet Sauvignon, I love these other varietals, and there's these areas that actually grow better Merlot and Cabernet. So if you're preaching terroir, and we're trying to grow something that doesn't grow great in terroir, then that's kind of being a little bit of a charlatan, right? And kind of being a little hypocritical, right? Mm-hmm. So really, people like Mondavi and the Frescobaldis, forged ahead and kind of made this new category of Super Tuscan wine. So anyway, the Lucchetti wines, this one right here, you can see by the sun, just because the vineyard with the positioning, as Danny showed you the vineyard map, the vineyard, that's beautiful spot where the sun comes in, southeastern facing, and has 12 bands of the sun there for all months of the year. And and you think about in sort of iconography things of the sun. I mean, so many things from religion, the rituals, the paganism, things like that. The sun is sort of life and kind of breeds just kind of eternal, ongoing, seasons and things like that. So that's really what they wanted to do, is kind of, embrace the land, but also kind of forge ahead and do their own thing. So this wine is a blend of primarily Merlot with a little bit of Sangiovese. Sometimes they'll throw a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon in it. But the reason we wanted to do this one tonight is not only is it a delicious wine, but I thought when you said Reese's, it's chocolate, but it's more of a lighter, more milk chocolate with sort of a creamy peanut butter. So I don't know. Let's see how we did here.
So a little Reese peanut butter cup paired with this one.
I think you did good. I already did mine, and it's very it brings out the creaminess. It's really weird. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wasn't expecting that. That's really good.
I'm telling you that. Well, that's Sangiovese. I mean, and then Merlot. I mean, I think Sangiovese and Merlot. God, it's like the two band members in Steely Dan, right? I mean, it's just like, hey, they're not going to rock your head off. It's like, hey, are you ready to rock? Softly. It's like, hey, and I'm cool with that, Hey, I mean, sometimes you just need a little Ricky Don't Lose That Number. Mm-hmm. We don't need Pour Some Sugar on Me at Decibel 11, right? Mm-hmm. This is definitely,
wow.
I don't want to misspeak, and we got some pairings to go, but this might be the pairing of the night so far. I think Tanya hit the nail on the head. Wow. It's just like proverbial peanut butter and jelly right here.
Yeah. No, it is. It really is. It's kind of like that.
You get the acid from the wine, you get that creaminess from the
little Sangiovese on the vine. Just give you an idea of look how plump and juicy those grapes look.
Yeah, plump, right. And Sangiovese, it's for those of you who've done enough shows of heard me talk about how it emulates Pinot Noir. Kind of a thinner skin, a little bit more yielding, but not a ton. But as you can see from the picture, I mean, that's a very ripe cluster, but very tight. Mm-hmm. They're unlike the Zinfandel and Cabernets that you may have seen. I mean, very, very tight clusters. That's why they can mutate and, obviously they ripen a little too early. Sometimes they ripen a little bit too late. So if you're a very small yielding winery like these guys, in some years you may cut 20% of your fruit before you even harvest. And then when you're ready to harvest, you may go, okay, well, we're just not going to harvest parts of this row and that row because it's not ready. And we're not going to throw in underripe fruit with overripe fruit and just go, here you go. Because, it's about name integrity, right?
They don't do that there. They don't do there. We have a great price on this. Was $29, down to $27. And I'm going to tell you right now, at the $27, that beats a giant large box store that's 2,000 feet away from our shop. So know that you're getting the best price.
If they even have it in stock.
If they have it in stock.
You actually walk in the store.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that it's probably, so this is very yummy for those people who like Super Tuscans. And especially with that peanut butter, it's like peanut butter and jelly going.
It really is.
It really is.
This
wow.
This might be the pairing right here.
You need to pick get this wine, some Reese peanut butter cups, and have yourself a ball, because this is really, really good. And we say the jelly, like peanut jelly, not to say that it's like in a sense overly fruit forward, because it's not. No. But it just kind of brings that flavor.
Peanut butter by itself is like too much.
Yeah.
Jelly by itself, too much is too sweet. But when you get it together, you're like, there you go. It's like bacon and scallops, or butter and garlic.
Yep.
You know, certain things just go well.
That's what this pairing is, and folks, it's really, really good. And you know what? This wine's got some pedigree to it.
Yeah, like I said, 25 years old now. But again, from the one of the Mondavis, which is quite frankly American winemaking royalty.
Right.
That's really put America on the map. And the Frescobaldi's, which are like Medici old. I mean, these guys go back to like Renaissance era, where like five families are, the five families of Tuscany,
the five families of Tuscany,
them and the Pope, that basically running Tuscany, got together and said, hey, let's actually personify not only Tuscany, and as anybody knows that's out there, Tuscany, what's probably the crown jewel, what's the Chateauneuf at the top of Tuscany is Montalcino.
Yep.
What's one of the most expensive wines outside of a Super Tuscan is Brunello di Montalcino. Mm-hmm. For those of you, let's get some thumbs up or likes that went to the Italian dinner, or maybe are drinking the Brunello tonight. Yeah. This is a wine, guys, for $27. I know, again,
minus your discount. So people are getting some discounts on this too. So it's below $27.
Yeah.
Some people might be getting this, sub 25. Go ahead. I'm telling you right now, this is the bottle you throw in.
If you guys believe in, or even kind of think at all terroir matters, Montalcino, and the reason why so many people covet it, this is from that area. Granted, it's not the coveted Brunello grape, but guess what? If it was the Brunello, we'd be doing it for 65, not 27.
Yeah, not 27. Yeah. So go ahead, head over to theloadedgrape.com. Definitely add this to your cart. Again, remember, if you're in a Cellar Club, Estate Club, or Reserve Club, you just put that in the coupon code, and you'll get your club level discount on that. And we're going to stay in Italy. We're going to stay in Italy.
A little further south.
We're going to go down to Sicily. We're going to go all the way down to the island, in the boot of the of
just
Italy.
When I thought I was out.
Bring it back in. Bring it back in.
But I promise it's going to be better than Godfather 3.
Yeah, okay. we say that.
Yeah, we say that.
We say that. No, and I'll tell you what, we're going to pair this one with some Hershey's milk chocolate. Classic pairing of what you're going to do. Milk chocolate, and then with wine, dark chocolate. We were going to do dark chocolate. I said, you know what? Everybody does dark chocolate. That's easy. Let's do milk chocolate and make this a little bit more of a challenge.
Well, and also something that people probably have access to. I mean, my wife definitely buys the stuff I can't pronounce sometimes, but let's be honest, around this time of year, the gift bags and stuff like that, you're going to have Reese's, you're going to have Hershey, you're going to have wine. That's my,
yeah.
You're looking at, you're looking at the bowl of candy, you're looking at the wine, you look at the bowl of candy, you're like, should I? We're telling you tonight, yes, you should. And quite frankly, Reese's PC and Super Tuscan go well together. You heard your folks right
here. They do go well together. Oh, now, I should let you guys know right now, before I even put the price here in a minute, this is super limited. Super limited. When I say super limited, we are only talking about 15 bottles. That's all I have tonight, 15 bottles. So
had 16.
Had 16. We're drinking it. So 15 bottles, folks. That's all I have. This is your super limited item for the night. And I guarantee if you've gone over the website, you already see the amazing price on this. And guess what? This is not going to last long. So we'll get into it. We're going to talk about it. But no, if you want this, get this in your cart. Get ready to press send or whatever. If you want to lock it in before anything else. I only have 15 bottles. I guarantee we'll probably go through 15 bottles.
Send your card in early, let them know. But let's just go ahead and assume, order it. Let's just go ahead and assume the 12 bottles are gone. Andy and these guys have been great the day or two after Virtual Vines. So they'll have this in the shop, so we can pre-order it, or I can see if I can get some more. So let these guys know. We definitely probably get it by Christmas because we do get enough from Stamari. But as far as what we have for instant gratification, and you don't want to wait 3, 4, 5 weeks, it probably won't be here before Thanksgiving. Who knows? 12 bottles, like you said. So guys, get it. So
get it.
Stamari, I feel like we've done a Stamari or two in the shop, maybe like a Chardonnay. A cab, maybe.
Yes, we did a Chardonnay, and I think we did a cab. So
okay.
I think based on some stuff that we've done in the past, and those were all in-shop wine tastings that we've done that.
Yeah. And I think, to me, and Stamari probably would like me saying this, but, we have Tomasi, and you know what I think about Tomasi. Love those guys. Stamari has always been that younger brother. And what I mean by that is that they're a very established Italian winery. However, I don't think they have the established name as Tomasi does. And I don't know. I mean, their wines are priced maybe 20 to 30% less, which doesn't mean they're less than wines. It just means that, sometimes, perception is reality, right? So for me, Stamari's always been a by the glass Pinot Grigio. Oh, you need a Cabernet outside of California. Stamari's been a great one, banquet wine, things like that. But if you really want to get into Sicily, alla Siciliana, and this is really the winery that personifies it, that we carry, that has somewhat accessibility to. They focus on old vine Nera d'Avola, which is really one of the main varietals in all of Sicily. Now they grow all kinds of super obscure stuff like Catamarca, which, by the way, that's actually the most widely planted white grape in all of Italy. Most people have never heard of it, but you probably had it. Actually, they make it to use Marsala, which, a lot of it's probably the bulk Marsala they use in Carrabba's or whatever else, right? But they're great Marsalas and stuff out there.
There's still good Marsala.
No, there's great Marsalas out there, but unfortunately for every one great one, there's like 10, sort of throwaway ones. There we go.
Sorry. If I was letting Michelle know we got you taken care of.
Yeah, there you go. And so, guys, so obviously, so we have the rock right here. That's the rock that the boot is kicking there. That is Sicily right there.
Yep.
And if you kind of go down a little bit farther, you can see kind of in that southern part of the island. That's actually where we're going to be talking about. And Etna, essentially, is a little volcano, still an active volcano. If I'm not mistaken, it's one of the largest still active volcanoes in all of Italy. Don't maybe Wikipedia me on that, but I think it's definitely up there. But what's interesting is the vineyards are grown right on the side of these volcanoes, on the side of the volcano. So the way the terroir is positioned, it's almost like a candle that's been melted, because you see the way they've been drawn. It's like gerrymandering a map. You're like, who in the hell would have ever planted a vineyard like that? Well, it's not out of ease of farming. It's out of ease of the land and kind of what you have. Yeah. So anyway, Contadoro is an area that's known for just super. Danny's already gone back for more.
Yeah, sorry, I gotta go back. I'm sorry. I didn't even taste it with the chocolate yet. It's just so yummy. So.
I love Stamari, and I'll be honest. I mean, most of the Stamari wines are great wines, but you drink today, they're gone tomorrow. But the Contadoro wine is really a wine that you can truly be like a middleweight price point and punch at that light heavyweight, because this has got that panache. It's got the elegance. It's got like, wow, you close your eyes and you're like, so Danny, you break out like a Reserva. It does say Reserva, but you're breaking out a $50, $60 bottle of wine. This drinks every bit of a $50 bottle of wine. I'm going to say it now. I'm not just whistling Dixie, as they would say, right? But
he's not. This wine definitely drinks like it's more than the price point that it is. And I will tell you this right now. We've been saying it. We've said it a lot of times, over and over. When it comes to years, and especially Italy, 2015. When you see it, you buy it, because that was the year of the decade.
Mm-hmm. Probably the century so far.
Could be the century so far. Yeah. Everything we've done that says 2015 on it always drinks amazing. Every price point. And folks, 2015 on this, and I'm telling you right now.
Well, I just bit the chocolate, but before I did, I was smelling it. I got like a little baker's chocolate, a little cocoa powder on that one almost. Mm-hmm. I mean, you get a little bit of the dark fruit, but that Nero, to me, for those of you scratching your head, TC keeps saying that. What the hell is that? Nera d'Avola is a grape that is very similar to Syrah. So for those, it almost kind of looks like Syrah on the vine. Syrah, it's like these big fat bunches that kind of hang down like, a big, like 12 inches or, 16 inches. I mean, just huge bunches of fruit. But Nero is a great varietal that has this kind of like Beaujolais didn't take a bath and went down and got sunbaked, and it has this like fruit punch with like a little dried herb, a little of the fruit in there, but not fruity. Yep. And you can definitely tell this is from a warm area, because Sicily, again, probably one of the warmest areas really in all of Europe to grow wine, definitely in Italy. You just get this full, ripe flavor. So number one, value. Southern Italy has it in spades. Yes, you can't pronounce the varietals. Yes, you never heard of the varietals. But if you get past that, guess what? You're going to find an amazing bottle of wine. And for those of you, again, that like New World, i.e. Argentina, Australia, California, may want to go to Sicily because, again, Sicily is an area that's a bit warmer, much like the Rhone Valley. I always talk about when we go to France, I say, try Rhone Valley before you try Bordeaux, you know? So if you're going to Italy, try Sicily because not only is the price point accessible, but the flavor is there as well. But we're talking medium to medium plus tannin. So this isn't a light in the loafers wine, guys. I know we're doing this third in the lineup, but this could very almost easily be a wine that we end the night with if we weren't doing a dessert wine, you know. So beautiful wine. I think it just pairs so well.
So
with Hershey's chocolate.
So well with the Hershey's chocolate. Actually, even on their website, when I was pulling photos, like this is the winery right here, the Stamari down in Sicily. I was literally had like the cocoa with next to the bottle, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna like in the description it says chocolate. I mean, right there. So really excellent wine. How don't you? Who doesn't want to be right there right now? Just looking at the sunset. Oh man, that is beautiful. Look at the mountain range.
What do we think, Vanna? What do we think about this one?
Yeah, I really, really like this one.
Oh my God.
I could see everyone really, really liking this one.
Yeah, I mean, 80% Nero, 20% Cabernet. I mean, we all love Cabernet. I mean, the Cabernet just brings it all together, in my opinion. You know, the Nero is like one of those wild grapes that kind of gives you all these interesting tertiary flavors. And the Cabernet is the glue that really binds it together, puts it all together. But, you know, as Danny said, 2015, this wine's already got 5 years on it. I shudder to think what he's going to charge for it, you know, but this is a 5-year-old wine, guys, from one of the better vintages that Italy's ever had. Drinking great now, but I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, this a decade or more, I think, on this wine.
Yeah,
easily. Drinking very fresh right now.
Only 14 bottles left. So, and with that down to $25 plus your club level discounts, guys, this is, this might be the steal of the night. Super tasty.
I mean,
with or without food.
From front to back, it's so seamless. I mean, this is not a wine that you kind of sit there and kind of chew on a little bit, or it goes away too quick. I mean, this wine is just like, it's like it's almost like a sports car, like a high-end sports car that you change gear. Yeah, you know, like the crappy cars. You know, I haven't drove. Do you have a clutch in your car?
No.
Okay, well, you know, but you know, like if you drove like an Escort, right? It'd be hard to change gears, no matter how good you are.
TC, that Camaro's only got 4 cylinders in it.
but you rev it up, make it sound loud, right?
Yeah. We should talk about how everybody thinks that Danny shouldn't drive the car that he drives.
Yeah. Well, that could be another episode.
That's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode right there.
Yeah.
But I guess the point I'm trying to make is
that's the intervention.
That's the intervention. You're going to show up, and all of a sudden, all the wine club members will be saying, "Danny, come on in."
Come on in.
And Danny's going to say, "No, you don't have the bottle. Only the person with the bottle can speak." Oh man, but seamless. I guess what I'm trying to say, guys, front to back. I mean, this is like Pretty Woman driving the Porsche. She's like, all right, this is how it goes. You know, first to third gear, like nothing, right? So
So head over to our website. Definitely put this in your cart. We'll try to fill everybody's. If it's something, I guarantee you, once it comes back in December, I will bring more bottles in because it is just so good. But the problem is when I bring it back, 16 or 2017, and when that said, it's gonna probably be a rock star. But it's not the 20. To me, I like sometimes I don't get wrapped up into years, but lately, every time I taste something for 2015, it's like, yep. So whether it's French, Italian, California, whatever it is, that is a year that I'm zoning in on when looking at bottles. But and for this price, 25, and with discount, I guarantee you, I'm beating the internet when you start adding discounts in. So so take advantage of it. Again, 14 bottles left.
Well, and speaking of something that's not, I was looking in the comments, someone's drinking the Casa Silva Sauvignon Gris, throwback, one of the first episodes. I don't think we have any of that left. You guys bought like 4 cases, like locust descending on a vineyard.
We blew out of that.
Yeah, I mean, just all of a sudden, and this will be kind of the same. And I think someone said they're drinking the Luzon as well. So cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Huh? Hey.
Well, that's what it is, guys. I mean, it seems like when it's all of a sudden one day you order Luzon. I'm like, when do we? I tasted it at some point. And these guys were just like the ambassador for Luzon. I mean, I feel like on every order you were putting 6 bottles of Luzon something just to keep in the shop because it's just you were just like moving. At the price point and
price point.
Even the white wine. Maybe we'll have to do the white at some point too. Yeah,
nice
little
we'll have to keep that in there. But the Luzon, great bottle.
Yeah, from the Altos to the Luzon Verde, even the Reserva. What we did, like $25, $20, something like that.
Something like that. It was great. I know who else was drinking something there. I think somebody else put a comment with what they were drinking. Oh, Michelle was drinking the Casa Silva Sauvignon Gris. But if you have, tell us what you're putting. Put in the comments. Tell us what you're drinking.
Michelle, they got the big Houchard bottle.
Yes, Michelle.
Are you saving that bottle for something special,
bottle,
or are you just going to open that up maybe on the virtual vines and say, "That's what I want to see. I want to see." It's like I opened up the 1.5, and I may or may not have company. I like the way you roll.
Yeah. And tonight we're also going to give away. I got to figure out how to do it. So because I bought a lot of Halloween candy, so we're going to do a little giveaway of a little basket of some wine and some Halloween candy. So I got to figure out. So if you want to put your suggestions on what is a good way to for me to do as a giveaway tonight, throw those in the suggestions in the comments, and we'll figure that out before the end of the show. Because we're blowing through the wines here tonight. 2 more wines to go. And I tell you what, folks, the next wine, we actually, if you're in the wine club, have something very from the same region.
Okay.
Still
in the Thunder?
Yeah, still in the Thunder. the Cobreeze region. And it has been a hit in the wine club. So if you're enjoying the wine club one, I think you're going to like this one as well. Similar makeup of Grenache. This is just Grenache.
Carignan.
Carignan, but Carignan based, just like the other one. And Grenache, where the other one actually has Syrah in it. So there's no Syrah in this one. This actually has gray Grenache and black Grenache. I didn't know there was a difference in Grenache.
Yeah, it was in our last wine that we're going to do tonight has Grenache Gris, Grenache. The thing, Grenache Noir is really, when we say Grenache or Grenache, we really should say Noir. But the plantings of the black versus the white varietal far outweigh the aforementioned. So when we say Grenache, we just say that. Same like Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris. We kind of say Pinot Noir because there's other Pinots out there, but there's probably more Pinot Noir than anything else. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. So I guess the best way I could, my 90-second pitch for Corbinier or specifically the Languedoc area is Corbinier, whichever. That's fine. Whichever. That's fine.
I guess Corbinier.
A little Cardinet. But what's so great about the Corbinier or the Languedoc, as they would say, the land of yes. Actually, in the old French, the little blue area right there.
Blue, down at the bottom, like the Carolina blue and the little bit of actually that seafoam green.
Yeah, just above Roussillon, which we'll talk about here in a second. But what I can say about Languedoc is, all things considered, there's nowhere in the world that you can find a wines plural, but in this case wine, that's as elegant, is as age-worthy, and has as much going on from 100-year-old vines for the price of 2 matinee tickets. I mean, seriously, if you're checking all the boxes of, okay, old vine, got it. They've been growing wine there for 2,500 plus years. Okay, got it. I mean, who can really say that? But, I was on the website probably about a year ago when I did a dinner with Fonsan, and they were talking about when they replant, it's not unusual for them to find artifacts from like 25 AD, just like, oh, here it is. Because for those of you looking at the map, as the Romans spread throughout Europe, they didn't go to Champagne first. They went down to the south of France first. So this area, even though it doesn't have the cachet as, say, Bordeaux and some of these other areas, they've been growing wine much, much longer, for millennia even, than the north of France. But Languedoc is an area that, as you can see, south of France, very warm, continental climates. This is a vineyard.
I think I did a little.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I did a closer.
A little close up. Yeah, there you go. So this is so you can see a little close up here, and the Mediterranean Ocean. See how it lies there. And Domaine Fonsan. What's interesting about these guys is I think they really personify the Languedoc. And what I mean by that is, even though the Languedoc grows, as Danny said, Grenache or several variations of Grenache, Syrah, Mourvedre, Carignan is really the grape that most wineries covet. Usually the single vineyard, usually the Reservas always come from Carignan or Carignan-based wines. In this case, we have Carignan, 60% that comes from a single vineyard that was planted in the year 1904. So, I mean, again, we could go to Napa all day long, and we could drink some great Spring Mountain.
1904.
1904. So we could be drinking some great Spring Mountain 1992 from a guy that made his millions at Microsoft, and he moved out there 10 years ago, and we're like, oh, David Abreu made it, so it's $85. Oh, thank you so much.
116-year-old vines. Yeah. For those that are not wanting to do the math.
Before the Titanic, like I don't know, 6-8 years before the Titanic, whatever that was.
12. Titanic wasn't even created yet. Wow.
Yeah. 1904, 1906, somewhere around there. Don't quote me. You on the website.
Close enough.
So it's circa 1905. We'll say that. But semantics when you're talking about that, and for those of you that have heard me talk about old vines, to me, old vine, arbitrary term, but that probably should apply to vines 40, 50 years old. But then you get in that what I deem ancient category, which is vines in that 90 plus 85 plus year because it's almost economically unviable to still
because the yields are so small.
Yields are so low. So unless you own the land outright, or unless you're just like, you know what, here's all the stuff that we keep the light bills paid, but this 1 3-acre, 4-acre, in this case, they actually named it. Here we go. Put the name right here. Oh yeah, here we go. Corbinier, Domaine Fonson. Oh yeah, here we go. The Reserva. There we go. That's the name of the little vineyard right there. And what's great about this one is, again,
wow.
Yeah,
Reserva de Damascelle.
Damascelle, that's the name of the vineyard.
Yep.
And what's great about this, again, to me, I love Carignan. It's one of my favorite grapes. I love Priorat. I love the Bulla that we do. I know we're talking Spain now, but from like Monsanto. But to me, Carignan is kind of like Danny's Petit Verdot. I think Carignan adds so much to the Rhone varietals. Some of my favorite Provençal wines generally have a fair amount of Carignan.
All my rosés that I love.
Carignan. Yeah, and it's not to say he doesn't love Carignan, but so that's just one of those grapes.
I love rosés, and it typically has it. That's
Carignan,
Carignan.
And it just flies under the radar. I think it's one of these grapes that flies under the radar a little bit. But again, Languedoc is an area that and again, I shudder to think of the price that we're doing tonight, but you can, for less than $50, less than $40, sometimes less than $30,
wow.
You can find.
For some people tonight, when they see the price, it might be less than $20.
So guys, what? Trying to say 100-year-old Carignan for less than 20. So should we just shut up at that point?
I'll skip through a couple of things I was going to show you. $22. So if you're in the Reserve Club, you're going to get this for under $20. Even those folks that are in the Estate Club are going to get right at $20. It's crazy. That's crazy talk. It's crazy talk. But here's the
estate right there.
There's the estate.
You see the little mountains right there behind that kind of keep the temperature regulated. Otherwise, they'd have more of a straight Mediterranean or more maritime climate.
I feel like I did a really great. I was like looking for these wineries in October.
Yeah, there you go.
Pulling photos of them in October.
Yeah.
So you weren't looking at these summertime vines or August vines. I was trying to show you, if you were there right now, what it would look like.
I like that.
And it would just be absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Kind of like, if you were going up to Asheville and looking at the colors, you can go to Sicily and look at the colors of the vines, because they're absolutely gorgeous. All the reds and the oranges and the yellows. And I can imagine sitting there drinking this wine while in the Languedoc and just going and then looking at those 100-year-old vines.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And picturing the Romans walking across and going, "Hey, we're going to plant some vines here and a bathhouse over there, and we're just going to run a big aqueduct over this way." And that's what they did.
You talk about history. This is like the. What was the Monty Python, The Life of Brian, where he's just like, down with the Romans? He goes, well, they gave us wine. Okay, outside of wine, he goes, well, they gave us roads. Okay, well, outside of roads and wine, well, they gave us education. Okay, outside of wine, roads, and education, he's like, well, they gave us sewer systems. Okay, outside of sewer systems, wine, education. He goes, we used to be able to walk around at night and get beat up, but now not so much. He goes, okay, outside of authority, wine, education, roads. So you guys can just imagine that, right? And again, just the history that's there, not only in Europe, but especially in the south of France here. And again, as your wine stockbroker, which I'm at some point I'm going to get a card made up that says TC Frazier Wine Stockbroker. I advise you to buy Languedoc, not only just this one because of all the pedigree we talked about, but just in general because, number one, again, you can find super ageable wines, super affordable wines, oftentimes vines that are 40, 50, 60, 80 plus years old. Also, for those of you that sometimes get what I call wine shop fright when you get to the Italian and French section and there's all these like Frenchy Italian looking words, and you're like, I don't know what to do. Languedoc is an area that, as a winemaker told me one time, they market their wines more so against California and Australia in that they oftentimes label the varietal on the wine, which is very uncommon for the old world, especially in France. So he says we market our wines against California versus Bordeaux or versus the Rhone. Because the Rhone, if people want Côte de Rhone or Chateauneuf, they know what Chateauneuf is. You don't have to put the grapes on it. But Languedoc's an area that most people haven't maybe heard of. So what's one thing we can do when you're walking the loaded grape that's going to make you pick this Cabernet versus a Bordeaux, which is Cabernet that just says Bordeaux? Languedoc is it. So again, all things considered, under $30, oftentimes under $20, you can find wines.
Another Kermit Lynch import again.
He just, he's like DiMaggio in 36, right? I mean, he's this guy just keep on getting hits.
Yeah, he's just crushing it. Showing it a little bit more of the vineyard. Look at the vines. See how, exactly. And the beautiful poppies that are sitting there in front of them just to. Oh, man.
Yeah, and that's the cover crop, guys. So again, I know we haven't talked much about sustainability, but just about every one of these wineries have some form of a sustainability, organic, in some cases even biodynamic. But what this is a little bit of cover crop, so they can kind of keep down the weeds. And obviously, it looks a little prettier, but they don't have to run through, tractors and lawnmowers and all this other stuff. So anytime you can take out, a piece of machinery that's being ran, hey, it's good for them, I guess, and it's good for them to be able to say it. And hey, at the end of the day, it's about the health of the vine. It's not about having it making it look like Pebble Beach, right? So
right. Because I'm sure these wineries get a lot of visitors as well. But at the end of the day, you look at that and you're like, that's pretty, but it saves them from having to mow every day.
Yeah. So, and of course, you put some goats out there. I mean, there you go.
And so up in the top is that carrion.
How dark that is.
Look how dark and beautiful that is, and then the Cabernet just hanging there on the bottom right. Man, what a great wine.
Yeah, well, like I said, guys, Languedoc, you mini-me. Oh, let me try the
let me tell you.
Yeah, tell them what you think about the Kit Kat.
With the Kit Kat, stellar.
Yeah.
Stellar. Tanya?
So, first of all, I haven't had a Kit Kat in like a decade. I just realized, I didn't realize how, I guess it's super sugary now, but anyway, it's really good. Especially with this, it was really, really. This might actually be my favorite so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that
but
wafer.
See, I like the wafer like candy bars and stuff. So that could be it for me. But it's really, I think it's really, really.
Yeah, I'm like, I haven't had a Kit Kat.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I didn't realize it until I was taken away. I was like, I seriously could not remember the last time I ate.
It's like Almond Joys or Mounds. I was like, I haven't had one of those in forever.
Almond Joys.
Well, like Mitch Hedberg says, Kit Kats are great unless you have 3 or more friends.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we stopped eating.
That's why we stopped eating Kit Kats. Again, folks, got this down to $22. We're talking 100-year-old vine. Let's go back. Let me go back here. Look at how those are 100-year vines, 100-year plus vines.
How many dollars is that per year? Is that less than $1? I mean, what is that like?
I mean,
25 cents a year.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's crazy. But got this down to $22 plus your discounts. Again, I'm beating the internet up on this, just crushing the internet on this price. Definitely throw this in your cart.
And have a little bit of availability. So again, for those of you that want to get in the shop, 2-3 bottles just to try it out, I know you're going to love it. Well, I say plenty. We have, I think when I started this show, 4 or 6 cases of this wine. So, not a wine that will be here forever, but certainly a wine that if you do pick up, I would suggest take it home, try it out. Because if you love it, guys, you definitely want to come back and then try to, beg Danny to get that price again. Yeah. Because, for this wine right here, that price, you definitely should be jumping on.
Might not get that price again, but you'll still get your discount if you're in the wine club. But, folks, with the Kit Kat, absolutely delicious. So if you're sitting there going, man, I haven't had a Kit Kat forever.
Yeah.
This kid's got all these Kit Kats. What do I drink it with? Right here. little Domaine de Fontaine. I want to say it with an Italian accent.
Yeah.
Fonsante?
Yeah. I've heard from Fonsan or Fonsante. Yeah.
No,
I've heard, tomato, I think.
Tomato.
Yeah. I've heard both ways. But yeah, guys, I guess for those of you playing the home game, I get this like toasted, almost like this like stewed raspberry with like a little bit of this like super toasted, like toasted vanilla on the back end. Like I want to say caramel, but I want to say like a Kilwins, right? So you're in Blowing Rock, you're walking by Kilwins, and you get that like waffle cone smell. But this is like a waffle cone that they go, oh damn, and it's like 10 seconds too much, and maybe they're selling those.
That could be why the waffle in the Kit Kat and the
right.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's what. Yes, see,
yeah, that's what
Vanna Vines and TC. I think we're on to something right now.
Yeah. Wow. What a
because I get that way again. I get that like vanilla, like almost like a waffle cone kind of a thing on the back end.
And it pairs so well.
I don't think we've had a bad. I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little I didn't know what to expect tonight. I knew the wines were going to be good, but
I didn't either.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, everything.
Because we've done this with beer, but not wine.
Folks, we researched this stuff out. And again, when I tell you we were looking at every psalm that ever did anything and kind of.
Well, we thought we were right. We just want to make sure we're not too off the beaten path. And we're getting all this vindication from. I guess we're being vindicated.
We're being vindicated because we obviously did the research and the of the psalms. Literally, me and TC were here burning the midnight oil after last week's show, looking up these wines, looking at pairings, looking at what psalms are saying. Because it is, kind of a kitschy thing to say, hey, we're going to pair with chocolate, but you know what? Wine pairs with chocolate. We want to be serious. We don't just like, we don't just throw this stuff at you guys. We actually do the research and have the conversations. And that's why when we do dinners and stuff, everybody goes, man, these pairings are really good. Well, we've vetted this stuff. It should go really well.
You got to.
And sometimes we shock ourselves because we think the reasons why we think it paired well is not what everybody tells us. It's something else.
Yeah.
So that's always the fun part.
It's like art. You make a painting or a sculpture with one thing in mind, and somebody comes up and says, I get that. You're like, you know what? I never thought about that. That's a totally different perspective. It's interesting. So. Well,
we are doing great pace tonight, so let's keep it going.
Yeah, let's keep it going.
And we're going to finish with a dessert wine.
Well, hey, I'm not going to lie. I have a little bit of a sweet tooth. I know some people have more of a sweet tooth than others. The older I get, and I want to say sweet tooth, it's like if it's there, I'll eat it. I don't seek it out, all the time. If it's there.
So what's your favorite if you were gonna?
I mean, I guess I like honestly the lighter so I like more of like a profiterole puff pastry. I love homemade cream, like a cream puff pastry of some sort with like maybe like a raspberry coulis. So like bold flavor, a little bit puff pastry, and a little bit of cream. Now sometimes to me, I love chocolate, but the super rich chocolate.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Halloween candy. Oh my god! Really twisting me here.
Throw in those suggestions. What's everybody's
can it be
Halloween
from,
candy?
Oh my god! Well, I know for years I was always. God, I know this because my mom always had them like the Dum Dum suckers. Like so, she always had the suckers. But I guess for candy, I don't know. I mean. Classic Snickers. I mean, you can't go wrong with Snickers, right? I mean, people like Snickers. I'll answer that. Baby Ruth. I think honestly, at the end of the day, it's the nuts and the caramel without the too much chocolate. I think if I ever go to like a gas station and I do have that one time where I pick something up, it'll probably be a Baby Ruth for me personally.
Mine. That's why it's fine.
The Twix.
The Twix is what we're going to do next. Michelle says Snickers. You know what? We've done pairings with Snickers before, and let's try to do some other more obscure candies.
Snickers.
I stayed away from candy corn because
Snickers is like a universal love.
I think we're also vindicated on the candy corn.
Because we didn't do it.
Well, not only that, because of like the suggested pairing, which was the trash can, right? So
yeah, exactly. That was pretty funny. So we were looking, what do you like candy corn on? It literally showed this thing, and it went the candy corn arrow went over to the trash can, and it was like, yeah, don't touch that. And so John and Denise going with Almond Joy and candy corn. They put candy corn. They put candy corn. Candy corn's great, but it's tough to pair with. I'm just gonna put that. Yeah. That was just too tough to pair with.
Yeah.
So
or maybe like a homemade caramel like popcorn ball or something. We're getting a little too fancy for that one.
Ooh,
popcorn ball. Well, we all have that one aunt, or maybe your mom was like a homemaker.
Like a little Rice Krispie treat.
Oh yeah, we got them back. Oh, so I thought you were about to grab a Rice Krispie treat.
Bailey was decided to make a run for the candy.
I was like, does Danny just have Rice Krispie treats on? No. He's just like, it's like the cooking show, and I saw on TV.
And down here, I have the the dog was about to go hit the candy, and we can't have the dog eat chocolate. That would be bad. So
last but not least, guys, probably I think when I say underrated or under the radar, like if here's the radar. And here's under the radar. Here's Banyuls. It's like not even kind of in existence. But for me, it's such a fun area that is, God, it's ancient. I mean, they've had people that have been making fortified wine in this part of France for millennia. So this is Banyuls is the name of the area. It's actually very close to a French port town. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's the last French port city before you enter Spain. Very close to the Catalan area, and as a matter of fact, they, the Catalan traditions and lifestyle and language actually carry over to this part of France as well. But Banyuls is very, very interesting. So Banyuls got an AOC status in the 1930s, and then they also did a Grand Cru status in the 1960s. So to be a Grand Cru, which these guys are, it has to be at least 70% of Grenache Noir, as Danny said. But unlike port or Sauterne or late harvest, to me, when we think of chocolate, like a nice big piece of chocolate cake, the ladies and the gentlemen out there that are thinking of a nice piece of like chocolate in the meal, I think of a Banyuls. And also, it's usually between 15 to 16%. Now, I know that's a higher alcohol percentage, but compared to port, which can be 20%, now you're going TC, that's just 3 or 4%. Trust me, sometimes that 3 or 4% makes all the difference. Sometimes that 3 or 4% can be the difference of a hot wine and a wine that you can actually have with dinner or with a dessert. Now, for those of you looking, now this is a wine that looks like a red wine, guys. This isn't like an amber tawny that you'd see from like a nice sherry or even some of these other ports that you see in California. But what's interesting about this wine is that they harvest the wine at a very specific time of the year, which is usually late September. It's always hand harvested because of the area. It's literally buttressed up on the side of a mountain. It all has to be hand harvested. After they ferment the wine, they age them about 50% at least in these unique glass jars on the outside. You're getting way ahead of me. I'm sorry. Here we go. I got the map. So we got the map. So guys, look at France at the very bottom, at the bottom right corner, that great seafoam green below the blue we were just talking about. That's the blue is the Languedoc. Below that is Roussillon, and Roussillon is the French AOC wine growing region that does a lot of still and white wines, but Banyuls is the area, or what it's probably, I won't say most famous for, but certainly in all of France, when you have an after dinner drink or a dessert wine, Banyuls is certainly right up there. And as I mentioned, it's very close to the border of Spain, and I know the map doesn't extend that far, but just below that would be Barcelona, which is kind of the capital of Catalan country, right? So very, very unique region and area.
London, but
like just south of there.
So if you get down into that,
just south of there. I mean, it's actually a French port town right on the coast. Right on the coastline. Mm-hmm. But again, guys, what's interesting about this wine is that they fortify it with natural grape spirits at about, it's like 97% grape spirits. But
we've been talking about it the whole time, and I wasn't sharing the screen, so nobody saw any of that. Nobody saw any of that. Or like pointing to the screen, thinking that everybody saw that. So let's go back. There's the seafoam green area.
Yeah, seafoam green area, guys. So
sorry, folks.
South,
down there.
Yeah, the southern part of France, right there on the border of Spain, just below that kind of Carolina blue area called the Languedoc we just talked about. That's the Roussillon. Oftentimes, if you look on a wine list, they'll say Languedoc Roussillon because it's such a sort of an obscure area. It doesn't really need a distinction between the two. But as we mentioned, Banyuls is an appellation, very, very close to the Spanish border. And what's unique about it is the way they make their wine. It's when you say ancient tradition, I mean ancient. I mean, there's some of these.
Let me get to that.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. So some of these wineries have been doing this since Roman times, guys. I mean, can you do? I mean, that almost looks Roman. I mean, that was
totally
the way the Romans would be doing it back in the day. And the reason they fortified it, and as a matter of fact, most of the quote unquote great wines up until 100 years ago were all fortified, right? Because that's how it made the trip to wherever it was going, and things like that. So what it does is you get this slow maderization of the wine. So you get this kind of beautiful kind of oxidization over time. This particular winery, there you go. Yep. And this particular winery ages them for about a year. And what they do is they bring it in, and then they fortify some current wine that's being made, and they blend wine average of 5 years. Some as young as 2 years, some as old as 13 years. And some of these wineries in Banyuls, they'll do like a Solara system like we talked about in Spain.
Yeah.
They'll actually blend stuff from like the 50s. I mean, but again, obviously the price point reflects that. But you talk about a wine that's, just so beautiful, so hedonistic. Being fortified, it can certainly last out, after you pop the cork on it, but not quite as sweet as port, not quite as dry as sherry, definitely not as expensive as late harvest Sauvignon Blanc from Napa Valley. A little bit more robust than say an ice vine, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So this to me, guys, this is a perfect transition. If you've been drinking Cabernet all night, you've been drinking, whatever red, and you want to transition, you want to be kind of red-ish, but you want to have a dessert red. To me, this is it. I mean, this is like what
16,
Ruby Port wants to be.
I can actually serve it in the shop.
Oh, you can, yeah.
Yeah,
because it's 16-1, right?
16-1. So
yeah.
I can actually serve this in the shop. So I can now keep this on the shelf for people who want to drink some dessert wines at the shop. So
it's like dried date, like a little bit of this apricot kind of a thing to it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. If you liked any of the ports that we were doing earlier in the year, you're going to love this wine. And just get a little look at those grapes up close.
Yeah, the Grenache, Grenache Noir, and a little bit of Grenache Gris and Grenache Blanc in this one, guys. But again, a super fun wine that you can almost guarantee you can bring over to anyone's household, and they haven't had. Mm-hmm. Maybe not everyone at first may love it, but guarantee you put the right thing. And I'm eating this Twix.
I need to do that.
That nougat.
The
nougat, and that right there, you need that. And so to me, again, when I said dates, God, you throw some dates on I can do this on a cheese platter too. You can do some cheeses, some manchego or something like that, and you can certainly throw a little bit of nougat and maybe some dried apricots or something like that. Yeah,
Twix with this wine.
Yeah.
Wow,
it really brings it out.
I also love the smell of this wine.
Oh, it smells
when you
great.
smell it, it actually smells like a deep, robust red wine that has a little bit of oxidation to it. It doesn't smell sweet. It doesn't smell like guys, I'm not going to say it's not. To me, this is not a sweet wine, even though it has residual sugar. Compared to a port, sometimes ports or late harvest Rieslings, that'll chatter your teeth at some point, if you drink enough of it. This is easily a wine that you could serve 3-4 ounces of at a meal, and no one will be, too displeased from it.
No. Man, this is excellent. So another Kermit Lynch import. Got this down to 32 plus your discounts. So again, if you're into the ports, especially those tawny ports, I definitely think there's a resemblance to those. Yeah. Just maybe not as sweet, but not as dry as the dry sherry we did earlier in the year.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle.
So definitely has more middle to closer to the port. I think it was a little sweeter than that. But this wine is, and I've been enjoying all the sherries and tawny ports and everything that we've been doing. And several people in the shop also know that I love ports and my dessert wines. So this is one, and I know if Alita Robbins is watching, this is your wheelhouse right here. Yeah. This is definitely your wheelhouse. So definitely take a crack at one of these.
Super fun wine, and again, I know just for those of you that want age a little bit of wine or have a stash somewhere. This is definitely something that you can put away. Yeah. It will not go bad anytime soon. And like I said, it's just a for port fans out there, or even for people that go, I had a port one time I loved, and every port I had since then I've just not liked. This is probably the one that's going to get you back in to that style because it's not offensive, it's not cloying, and again, I just think it just has this almost, again, for those of you who are ever wondering what like an old red wine smells like, outside of that kind of like date apricot thing it has, this has that matterized, oxidative, kind of smell. And so whenever I smell like a Banyul, to me, it's like you smell a wine that was opened back in the 70s. Like you're just like, man, how long has that wine been open? Because that's what it smells like. It's like it's been, but it's not corked. It's not bad. It just has that celery, earthy kind of like just, again, bruised banana kind of a thing going on to it. But
this is non-vintage.
Mm-hmm. Average age of 5 years. So like I said, they'll blend up to 13 years old wine, some up to 2 years. So they always say for the Reserva, they average age of 2. And then they have a single bottling that I said, I think it's up to this particular wine in 1952. I'm not sure if we get it, and if we do, or if we did, it'd be at least 3 times 30. It wouldn't be $32. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah,
so.
Not non-vintage on this, but I'm a drinking excellent, especially for those that like ports and tawnies and. And with the Twix, yummy. So let me go over a quick rundown of our show today. What we have is start off with the Chapelou Vouvray Brut. Excellent Chenin Blanc bubble. So if you like Chenin Blanc and like a good Brut, great price on that, down to $27, plus your discounts if you're in the wine club. And then we went to the Lusante Red Blend from Tuscany, a little Super Tuscan, down to $26. I think I might have said. Yeah, I guess I got that right. $26.
Fresco Baldi, Mondavi family. I mean, the Lucente. Wow. I mean, that's, again, guys, I mean, the regular just Luce wine, I love it. And I've had the fortunate ability to taste it. I cannot afford it because, again, $100 a bottle for me, that's like once a year for me. But at $26 a bottle, I can drink a couple bottles of that a month right there and be fine. And I'll tell you what, if you have some Reese's available, do yourself a favor and grab a Reese's with that wine. Oh my God,
I'm torn between my favorite pairing. We'll go around that in a second. Then we did this Stamari Conchadoro Red Blend, down to 25 tonight. This one, 14 bottles left. 14 bottles left. So if you want this, get on it, hop on it now. This will go. There's not, and with that Hershey's, it paired. With any probably piece of chocolate, it pairs amazing. But this is definitely one that I will probably buy all 14 bottles, have in the shop. And even if everybody else doesn't, I will be pulling off the shelf throughout the holidays going, okay, I'm going to have one of these, bring it to a party. Because it is absolutely amazing. Then we did the Fonsante, or you want to say?
Fonsante.
The beautiful 100-year Kerrigan and Grenache vines from Corbreeze. Corbinier. I say Corbreeze. I like the E's. Corbinier. I feel like I want to put Spanish on the stuff that should be.
Hey man, that's fine. I barely speak proper English, so don't even get me started.
Probably the deal bottle of the night at $22.
Yeah, for all things considered, guys. Ageability, class, finesse. For the price of probably 2 Starbucks pumpkin lattes, that is that is definitely
so
over-delivering for the price.
And then we went down the Latour de Vallée Banyuls Reserva. I spelled Reserva wrong. Look at me.
And Vouvray wrong. That's okay.
Vouvray wrong. I've done it all wrong.
That's okay.
This is what happens when I try to rush to get everything done. So down to $32 a bottle. What a steal for a dessert wine if you like ports. This is more for that port, sherry drinker, the people who like the dessert wines, ice wines. This is for you.
We're drinking at room temp, guys, but if you want to put just a little chill on this, that's totally appropriate. And again, being fortified, this wine's already been out in the sun under glass for a while. This wine ain't going bad anytime soon.
No.
So again, and this is a wine that you're probably not going to, unless you just really have a sweet tooth that night, drink a whole bottle. So this is easily something that every night when you're done, hey, you've had a couple beers, you've had a couple bourbons, maybe a couple glasses of wine. You just need that little take me off. That little just.
That little thing.
I don't need a whole other beer. I don't need a whole glass of wine. What's this? That one little 3-ounce something that put me there. This right here. Just keep on your. This is like natural NyQuil, basically. That's what it is.
That's what, yeah.
It's better for you.
It's better for you. And then if you want to join me and TC this Thursday night at 8:00, you can buy your Boo Bag, 3 wines that we're going to be doing, and they're the 375 format, so half bottles for $40. You can get your club discounts on that as well, including some candy in that booze bag that we're giving out. A lot of fun, actually, and we can talk about this here for a second. Let me make sure. Again, remember to put your wine club discounts in, cellar, estate, reserve, into the coupon code to get your member discount. Let me go back so everybody can see us as we finish up the show, folks. In that booze bag, let me talk about that for a second, because we did 2 of the wines recently, me and TC, for a private company tasting. And folks, throw this out there to your companies with the holidays coming up. Me and TC are available to do some tastings for you and your company. I just got reached out to by another company today, but we can hop on a Zoom call and talk about wines for you. We can do 1 bottle, 2 bottles. We can do full bottles. We could do 375s. We'll make it work for your budget and what you're looking to do. So let us know as the holidays are approaching. And again, COVID hasn't gone anywhere, so we're trying to figure out ways to still sell wine in the COVID time period. And if that means hopping on some Zoom calls and doing some private tastings, we're going to do that. And so let us know. But that Wentmore Cabernet Sauvignon that's in the booze bag.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Make sure you get some of that, guys. I mean, yeah, Riva Ranch. I mean, you know the how good those are. I mean, for those of you that don't, well, first of all, Wintec. We just talked about Wente ad nauseum, but guys, that Cabernet, honestly, just for that Cabernet, is worth the bag. I almost forget what else what's in there.
Yeah, it was.
The Wente Cabernet.
Gall Blanc.
Oh yeah, the Gall Blanc. And
so Viognier,
right?
So a Viognier on the Gall Blanc, absolutely delicious and perfect for this time of year. Drinking wonderfully. Actually, most people who were like, "What is?" They didn't know Viognier, and they were drinking. They're going like, "This is. I gotta have this for Thanksgiving. I gotta have this." Yeah. And then the other wine we're doing is from King Estate, the Pinot Noir. So a little Oregon Pinot Noir for you to finish.
Something for everybody in the bag.
Yes, something for everybody in the bag. Lots of candy in the bag, so pick that up as well when you come in. We'll have those bags made up. A little ghost on, a lot of fun. Yeah. So and then join us 8:00. You'll have a Zoom link when you pick up to be able to do that. So yeah, a lot of fun on this Thursday coming up 8:00. So
coming up pretty soon. A lot of stuff going on between now and the end of the year, guys. So make sure you keep on their emails, Facebook, Instagram feeds, all that stuff going on.
So last reminder, the dinners are up on the website as well. So if you want to add in the Thanksgiving beer and wine dinner, we have November 12th or November 19th at 6:30. It's going to be at the Porterhouse. Reservations are required, so go ahead and buy your tickets now.
Pairings will be up soon, but I mean, hey. It's a fun time. At least it's a fun time. At most, you're like, wow, I would have never had this, or this. But it's going to be a fun time paired with
beer and wine. Remember, you're getting beer and wine in this dinner. Most people just do wine at this price.
Or beer
at this price. They do not even do both. So it's stellar pricing, and I guarantee you're going to love the food. My brother-in-law is an amazing cook. Everybody thought, even at the Italian dinner, they thought I got it from Salvino's. Yep. It was just my brother-in-law, and they're cooking, and he does an amazing job.
We talk about a true pop-up. I mean, we're talking about it's a wine dinner through a wine shop at a restaurant that's known for burgers outside, but not with burgers. Yeah. So it's like, I mean, you really have to like.
We'll be inside. We'll be inside
for the high sign and know the special code. And know somebody. I just be able to get in.
So we'll be inside for this one. That's why it's very limited seating to be able to social distance everybody. But guys, amazing dinner. So definitely know that. Lastly, next week, same time, same Batman channel. But we're going to be doing bourbon wines.
Yes, bourbon barrel-aged wines.
Bourbon barrel-aged wines.
Stay tuned, and then I think a week after we might have somebody tuning in.
Yeah.
Not from France, but she's from France, but here stateside. Perfect Thanksgiving wines.
Yep.
Burgundy, like all things Burgundy. Affordable Burgundy. I know when we say Burgundy, people are like, oh God. No, I think everything will be under $40, I think even $30 maybe. We'll see. So,
and if you're from Davie County, it's Burgundy.
Burgundy, yeah, whatever. Hey, we know what you're talking about. Just
we got you.
We got you.
It's fine. It's fine. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. TC, last notes on tonight's.
I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie. We wanted to do this because it was appropriate for the Halloween coming up. I was really surprised on everything, on all the pairings. So I think the theme is, if you have candy laying around, don't just eat your candy and wait 20 minutes to drink your wine. I think go ahead and have your candy and eat it too, or have your wine and eat your candy too. But yeah, great stuff. And hey, and while we're down the last week, hey, we're a nonpartisan show, but I always say just go out and vote. I don't care don't care who you vote for, but we're down to the last week. I think early voting is till Saturday.
Yep.
So
get it in.
Yeah, hey man, guys, it's your civic duty, right? It's the least you can do. Make a time, go out there, go vote, have a glass of wine after. Some of you for either to celebrate or to remote. But hey, we got wine too.
We'll have wine for you. We'll have wine for you. So be sure to stop by the Loaded Grape that on election day. You can hang out and actually you'll probably be with Andy. So hang out with Andy and drink some wine. So that night. So look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. And as always, enjoy your wine and go to loadedgrape.com. Put in your orders. All orders will be available for pickup starting at 4:00 on Wednesday. That's 4:00 on Wednesday for pickup. If I have to ship anything out, it will go out on Thursday. So because we have to been shipping out a lot of stuff lately. So if I have to ship anything out, it goes out on Thursday. So thanks so much and have a wonderful night.
Cheers.